So I'm sure you've heard this term inflation, which has been thrown around a lot for the last couple months. Inflation, recession.
It's nice to see inflation below expectations.
The U.S. inflation numbers have landed, and here they are.
With breaking news, the January inflation report just out this morning shows the consumer price index rose about 0.5% in January.
And here's what inflation means in case you don't already know. It's a general increase in prices and a fall in the purchasing value of money. So your money doesn't go as far. Your money has less and less value. And the same thing is happening in the dating marketplace. This is not only happening in the world economy, but this is happening in the dating economy as well, as I like to call it, the dating marketplace. And instead of money though, what is the currency that we're talking about? It's male attention. So what happens normally in the dating marketplace throughout most of history, you as a man give a woman attention. And if you are generally a good option for her because she's in a smaller community or a smaller circle, most of the time she'll be happy with that attention because she doesn't get much of it. Maybe she gets attention from a few guys here and there, but it's not so crazy. So what happens is she says yes to you taking her to prom. As an example, in the 80s, the 70s, the 60s, the way that our parents and grandparents met. If you weren't living in a major city like, let's say, LA, and even then, by the way, it would still be something similar to this. What would happen is you'd be a cool guy in your school, or you would just work hard, maybe have a nice car, and eventually get the girl because you ask the girl out on the date, and she's not being asked out on 20 dates per day or 20 dates a week. So you ask her out on a date, you're a really good option for her, you're doing the best you can, and she says yes. That was how dating was back in the day, before this insane inflation on male attention hit and caused everything to change. But there's a specific reason for it, and I'm going to explain that here. It's really important you understand this because everything else that I'm going to give you in this training, things that are going to really help you in your life, all stems from these principles that I'm going to share here. Okay, so what changed and where are we now? Two things happened, and these two things are really important: feminism and social media. These things are not necessarily bad, but they are important to understand. So in their own right by themselves, these things aren't bad. Feminism isn't a bad thing. I know everyone says feminism, but it's not a bad thing. Social media as well isn't a bad thing. People have made way more money because of social media. It's more easy than ever to scale your life and to create a lifestyle of abundance, making money, earning, scaling your business because of social media. It's not a bad thing. But the problem is, at scale, these things shift the landscape. And here's what's happening. Men and women are having less sex. They're having less relationships, and they're having fewer marriages. These are facts. These are literal facts. There's data on this. People are having less sex, they're having less relationships, and less marriages. Teen depression is at an all-time high. Body-related anxiety, image anxiety, is at an all-time high. And that is because of social media, okay? These two things play with each other. Feminism and social media are very directly related, and I'll explain how. Feminism. Let's take the category of feminism. Things like birth control, body autonomy, and sexual liberation. That's the category of feminism. These things in themselves aren't bad. Should women be able to have control over their bodies? Absolutely. Should there be birth control? Sure. Why the fuck not? I'm not against any of these things. I'm pro many of these things, but the facts are still the facts. So women have greater choosing power because of these new developments, because of the way our society has changed, because of things like body autonomy, sexual liberation. Women now have greater choosing power, which leads to, and pay attention here, this is important, this leads to a decrease in prioritizing stability and protection from men. Because before, they didn't have access to these things. So let's say a woman sleeps with someone, the chances or the risk of that being detrimental to her life is way higher than it is now, right? So the attention from a good man was something she needed to hold on to and value more than she must today, because there was greater risk involved. Because now the risk is less, her choosing power is a lot higher, which again, in theory is okay. And we want people to have equality. We want things to become more equal, but this does shift the game. This does change the way women relate to you. So what's happening is there's an increase in the hookup culture because there's less consequences and women have more choosing power. You can get an abortion now. You can be on birth control, right? So the hookup culture increases. Women change how they date, how they build relationships. The second thing is social media. Social media plays in with this. Attention is happening at scale. Okay, attention is one of the most valuable valuable assets you can have as a person. If you want to build a successful business, to some extent, not all businesses, but if you want to build a successful brand at least, what do you need? Attention. Why the fuck do I make YouTube videos? Because for my brand, for my business, what do I need? Attention. The more people see what I do, the more I can offer my services, helping guys create an amazing dating life. I can offer that to more men, right? Brands like Coca-Cola, Nike, why do they pay athletes? Attention. People are looking at the athlete. They want to see, what is LeBron doing? What is Serena Williams doing? What is fucking Ronaldo doing? They want to see these things. It's attention, it's attention, it's attention. People will invest in and pay for attention. So what social media does is it provides attention at scale. And here's the problem. Male attention has less value because it is socially engineered to be handed out in likes and comments. And then you have outliers, which make this more extreme. Things like, let's say Tinder, right? Swipe right. Most guys are going to swipe right on most girls. Most guys swipe right on like 70 to 80% of girls, except for a few extreme outliers in terms of a very, very picky man or an extremely unattractive woman. Most guys will swipe right and give her the validation of being matched with, okay? Another thing is likes and comments. A girl posts a photo where she's showing a little bit of skin in a provocative or sexually stimulating pose. Tons of guys are gonna like that. So she's getting the attention and validation. What else is happening? DMs. It's something that I would call digital simping. It's not in person. They're not buying her tons of flowers and shit, but they're giving the likes, they're giving the validation, they're giving the attention. Hey, you're attractive. Hey, I like the way you look. So she gets that hit. So now it's not coming from the nice guy who asked her to prom in school anymore. Instead, it's coming from 10 guys in Miami, another 10 guys from the UK who found her profile, think she's hot, and are liking her shit, right? And then sliding into the DMs, hey, or funny comment on one of her stories. Another part of social media as well, which has to do with the scaling of attention, is the highest value men seem closer than ever to women, right? So you get, I like using this example, let's say Aiden, the fitness TikToker, that guy is on Instagram. He's on Instagram, and this girl, Sarah, in whatever fucking city, is seeing his stuff. She's seeing his stuff. So now, maybe she was staying in Hicktown, Alabama, wherever the fuck, some town in Alabama, and this guy is in LA. LA is a plane flight away. She may not realistically get that ticket, but she's seeing that. She's seeing that on her feed. This is the norm. This is the standard, cool, attractive guy. This is what it looks like. So it's scaled now. His attention is still valuable to her, but it's at scale. He's reaching way more women, and she's seeing someone who's not even in her immediate vicinity that she's comparing the men around her to, okay? Discontent also increases when you have social media at a scale, which it is. It's at scale, so people are more discontent with their lives. The problem, here's what really fucks this shit up, and here's where the problem really happens. The same behaviors are occurring as before because biology does not actually change. So women want the same things, which I'm going to share with you next. Women actually want the same things, but the access is different, right? So the same things women wanted in the 80s and the 70s, they still want those same things now because of evolutionary and biological drives. That hasn't changed, but the access is different. Okay, so what they're comparing it to, so let's say before a woman would think a guy who's a 6 or 7 out of 10 was the shit and he was amazing. Now she's comparing that 6 or 7 out of 10 with the fitness influencer or whatever, the fuckboy type dude that she's seeing on Instagram driving cool cars, working out with like sweat on him because he has his camera boy who's recording shit and editing it in Premiere Pro, putting cool colors on it. So now that looks more intense. She sees the girls going to spring break in Miami and she's like, I should be doing that thing because that's what an empowered woman who gets what she wants is going for, right? And this is not a problem with women, but feminism has enabled this and social media has enabled this. This video is totally going to be demonetized and I'm totally going to get canceled for this. Not big cancel because I'm not famous, but this video is probably going to get flagged on YouTube for this, I would guess. Maybe not. But then the question to ask is this, and I'm going to give you something to actually help you here, but I want to set this foundation at this stage. What is it that women actually want? So now we understand where the market is right now. This is where the inflation's coming from. This is what's happening. But what do women actually want? It's very simple, and if you read evolutionary psychology, you will understand this. It explains everything. What women want is men who have a high ranking in the dating marketplace relative to their own value. Okay, so you get a girl who's like objectively, not ranking high. She's very low. She will date someone who's proportionate to where she is, okay? That's gonna happen. But as you start to get more and more attractive women who have more and more options, or women who are aware of their options, what they want are men who rank highly in the dating marketplace, because that's the game that we're in. That's the game they're playing. This is not all girls. You have quality girls that are not in this matrix. I'm serious. There's a girl I know right now. I'm not talking about my girl because I think she is like this as well, very quality. But there's a girl I know actually that's in I won't say where she's at. She's someone I know, and she's one of the most beautiful girls that I've seen in a long time. She's not like a perfectly woman, but she's beautiful, gorgeous, amazing body, like really attractive, feminine energy. And she literally has like a post on Instagram and a private Instagram page, a couple hundred followers, following a couple hundred people as well. One post, right? That's the example of when I think of quality girl who's not in this matrix of validation and who's not playing the game, who's not, maybe to some extent she is, I don't know her life very well, but that's kind of what I'm talking about, right? A girl who isn't trying to be on the carousel of I'm empowered and I go get dick, right? And I go fuck the Miami promoter. Not saying that a girl who does that can't be a cool person or a great girl, but generally, again, quality for long-term building and structure in life, that isn't what you want to have. And I'm sure you understand this. I'm sure you know this yourself, my friend. So the thing is, women want men who rank highly in the dating marketplace. It's very simple. What they want is men who have good features to mate with and bond with, especially when it comes to long-term dating strategies. The problem with this, and you need to understand this as a man, because if you understand this problem, you're going to be able to actually work around the problem and create the kind of dating life you want. The problem is because of empowerment and social media now, these bonds are becoming weaker, right? Because of this empowerment and like, I don't need a man, which not saying women have to need a man, but the other side of I don't need a man isn't helpful either. Like, I will not say I don't need a woman. I without question, me being with my partner has made my life better. I have a support, and me and her are taking on life together. There's downsides, of course, as well, but there's definitely big benefits to it. So this is the saying of like, I don't need the other person, unless you're taking a vow of celibacy and you know, going full monk mode for the rest of your life, no girls, or as a woman being a nun. Saying I don't need no man is stupid as fuck, genuinely, because that other person adds another half to your life. So what happens is, because of empowerment and social media, these bonds that we have as humans from the female side and the male side are becoming weaker and weaker, okay? And people are making decisions about who they're attracted to, who they want to date faster and faster, and it's happening at scale. It's a scale. Scale is where the problem comes in. I want to explain to you the antidote to this. It's something that we call scaling your value. This is how you're going to step up and really create what you want, and how you're going to attract some beautiful fucking women in the next couple years and find an amazing relationship, because once you see a bunch of women that are attractive, you'll be able to have the choice to attract who you want, okay? What you need to do is something that we call scaling your value. What scaling your value means is leveraging your value markers in the dating marketplace and demonstrating those value markers as much as possible. Okay, that's how you scale your value. Scaling your value means you essentially have these markers that indicate how valuable you are as a man in the given dating marketplace, okay? So let's say one of these value markers could be how you dress. That's an example of this. Scaling that would be on social media, making sure you dress well and getting photos of, you know, you in certain locations that look high value, where you're dressed very, very masculine, very attractive. Women will invest in that. That's an example of scaling your value. There's more examples. I'll get to them later. I want to ask you this. Here's what this means for you, or not even ask. I want to tell you about this. What does this mean for you? I'm going to give you some good and some bad. This new reality that we're in, this new matrix, as it were, that we're in. Here's what it means for you. A couple things. Number one, your competition is at an all-time high. This is a fact. It is more competitive than ever to be a man. To be a man who's successful in this world, not only in terms of finances, but also in terms of what you can access in dating and relationships, okay? Competition's at an all-time high. There's a gap right now between the men who are scaling their short-term value markers and those who have less value, okay? Remember this, please. Competition's at an all-time high. There's a gap between the men who are scaling their short-term value markers and those who have less value. So if you're a guy who's got less value, whether that's because financially you can't afford to invest in things to make your lifestyle better, that's a real one of less value, or if it's because, you know, physically you're severely disadvantaged in some way, and I'm not talking about say, oh, I'm short, because there's other fucking things you could do to look better. But let's say there's things you can't avoid, right? Maybe that exists. I'm sure there is, but there's guys with less value. those guys are going to be more and more distant from the guys that have very strong short-term value markers. An example of a short-term value marker, again, would be being a good communicator, being a good leader, being very assertive, being able to create sexual connection with the woman very quickly, sharing stories, things like that, right? That's an example of the short-term value markers. So there's this gap that's being built. Now, here's what the good part is, because I know that sounds like a doomsday shit, like a doomsday thing, like, oh, fuck, there's a gap, we're all fucked, go full black pill. I know there's all these pills nowadays that everyone's talking about. Looks matters, that's the only thing that matters. Here's the truth. The higher your competition, the more resources you're going to have that are available to you. So what you can do is start investing in scaling your own value. Become a well-rounded man. And in a second, I'm going to give you several concrete steps for what you could do next to get here. And it'll really change a lot for you if you can use these steps. But that's what's important. You have to begin to scale your value. Become well-rounded. Don't just stick in your own lane and say when it happens, it'll happen. Every single guy who comes through my mastermind, we run a year-long mastermind program with a 90-day results window. And what we do in this program is called LMC, Lifestyle Mastery Consulting. What we do is every guy in this program, one of the first priorities is how can you scale your value more? When you communicate with women, one, how do you speak through what makes you valuable as a man so women want to invest in you and they literally fall in love with you as quickly as possible? I'm not kidding with you, literally. And then from there, you have choice. And then, of course, with great power comes great responsibility, so we respect and we honor women, always. But you want to have power. You don't want to be the guy who's just, oh, she didn't like me. Okay, well, let me on to the next one. No, why didn't she like you? What was the reason? Was it either no attraction? We can live with that. Or was it because she didn't see enough value in you relative to who your competition is? Because if that's the case, bro, fuck that. You should be top 10 percentile. And I know this is a harsh message. I know that some people may not want to hear this, but I'm no longer taking a soft approach that's one of just, oh, it'll happen when it happens. We're not doing that. We're aggressively and actively leveling ourselves up and scaling our value so that we can create the kind of abundance, create the kind of freedom, attract the exact kind of women into our lives we want, and then from there make choices on how we have relationships, how we love, how we give our time, things like that. So here's where you begin. I'm going to give you specifically 3 steps, 3 plus 1, there's a little bonus one here, 3 steps you can use to create this in this competitive dating marketplace, okay? The first step is what I call step 00. It's not even step number 1, because if you don't have this, you're not going to get started. You need to start with this. Number 1 is understand female evolutionary psychology, okay? What do women want? How do they make decisions? And how do those decisions affect the real world? Okay, what do women want? How do they make decisions? And how do those decisions affect the real world? This is super important. Instead of you interacting with women blind, where you just throw shit at the wall and whatever happens, happens, start to read evolutionary psychology and understand why women make certain dating decisions. It will empower you as a man. Throughout this big lens of feminism, this big lens of empowerment, that I think really is in a way awesome because it protects women and gives women possibilities they didn't have before, right? But at the same time, then you as a man need to develop tools to go past the masculine frame that many women portray today because of the pain women have felt for years through oppression, through abuse. They've developed this masculine front. No man can take advantage of me. We got that. Cool. That's amazing. But now you as a man have to develop tools to say, hey, with me, though, you can be your most feminine self. With me, you can let go of the feminist frame because men have abused women for so long, because I'm not going to do that. And I'm valuable and I will lead you. I will do that with you. And some women will not have it, of course, but the quality women will, even if they're in that space of empowerment. So you have to learn to have tools to get past this. And the way you do it is by understanding the female mind, understanding how women think. You can either do that with me, because I work in teaching men this, or you can do it on your own. Read evolutionary psychology. Read these books. It will help you. Start with Dr. David Buss, Why Women Have Sex, and The Evolution of Desire. Super powerful books. Step number 1. Before you start anything, of course, with step 0, step number 1. Work on your baseline value markers. Okay, your baseline value markers is essentially where you're starting. How do women perceive you when you go up and talk to them? What are the markers you're demonstrating? How you look, how you communicate, what you have access to. These are your baseline value markers. Okay, an example, how you look. Do you look good? When you interact with the world, when you go out, when you meet women, do you look good? Are there any girls turning heads looking at you? Do you get indicators of interest when you're walking through a club or a bar? When you're on the street going through your life? Do women look at you to any extent? If that's not the case, if no one turns a head at all, you need to work on yourself. How do you dress? As an example, let's say you've got good arms. Are you wearing shirts that highlight that, right? Let's say you've got a good face. What are you doing to highlight that? Do you have a chain that you're wearing to highlight features up here? If you've got a good overall physique and overall body, are you wearing tailored shirts and wearing jackets that show it off? So women are like, fuck, this guy is a fucking, I don't know what word I'd use, but whatever they would say, right? Like, is that what you're doing? How do you look? Number 2, how do you communicate? How well do you share information? How well do you give information to women where they say, I could listen to him talk all day, or this man is on a path and I want to join his path. I'd be lucky if he brought me to his path, right? How well do you communicate? And then what do you have access to? Here comes more value markers. Do you have access to cool shit? A lot of guys, again, you may make money, but you may not be leveraging your money in the best way. And some of you watching this, I know, are killing it at this. So you need to have all 3 of these things. Do you have access to cool things? What is your circle like, right? Where do you go eat dinner? I'm not kidding. Where do you eat dinner? What kind of food do you cook for yourself? If you cook at home, what do you cook for yourself? These are all things of becoming a quality man, a well-rounded top 20, top 10% man. What are your value markers? What does a woman feel when she talks to you? What is the quality of your life? Step number 2, build a funnel. The women that you want to meet, where is that going to happen? We're going to head to the whiteboard for a second because I want to explain this to you in detail. So a lot of times when you're dating, you can literally build a fucking dating funnel. I'm not kidding with you. You can build a funnel where you have women coming in from different places, and based on where they're coming in, you can build your dating life around that, right? So as an example, let's say the dating funnel right here is like is intimacy. Okay, we'll just write INT. This is you sleeping with the girl, you getting laid. I don't really want to write sex for YouTube. I'm gonna kind of bleep that word out possibly. But let's say the bottom of the dating funnel is here, is intimacy, okay? And then up here, you've got the funnel going up. It's a shitty funnel, but we'll use this for now. Okay, what happens in this funnel? Where are the places that are points of entry? Maybe you have some online here, right? Online. Maybe you have a little bit of social circle. We'll just go with social, right? That's some social circle. Maybe you've got a little bit of cold approach, right? Where you go out to a bar or a club. How are you going to build a funnel? So the women that you want to meet, where is that going to happen? What platforms and environments are you going to establish in your life to go out and meet women? If it's social, where is it going to be? Is it going to be in the gym? And it doesn't mean going out to the gym and approaching girls 24/7. Of course, that's weird. But is it going to be a fitness or health club? If it's cold, where are you going to do that? If it's cold, are you going to go out to the club once a week and go out and approach girls? Where's that going to happen from? Let's say it's online. What app are you going to use to meet women? What app are you going to use to approach girls? How does that work for you, right? Understand the dating marketplace and understand that you have to build a funnel if you're going to meet women. And I literally have this for myself. I have a dating funnel that I use. It's a dating funnel where I know where I'm meeting women. For me, what that funnel looks like is about like half cold approach, about another like 25%. Actually, now it's less. It's like 30% going out and cold approaching because I'm very busy. And then another part of it is social now because we do private events here in Budapest. And I have that social now. And then another part of the dating funnel would be online dating, right? Depending on when I activate my profiles and such, which I'll actually make a really cool training about that here on YouTube very soon. So subscribe if you haven't so you can see when I actually build my new Tinder profile that I'm going to build and test out and see how it works for you guys. We're going to do that live. I'm not going to be live on YouTube, but we're going to make a video live and see how it works out. I'm going to give you guys some training on online dating. So that's number 2, build your funnel, okay? Have a funnel, a streamlined funnel of beginning to end where girls are seeing you from. And then number 3, refine your process, okay? How do you go from open, starting the conversation, to sleeping with the girl, to seeing her? How do you do that? Don't make it random. It shouldn't be random. It shouldn't be like, oh, when it happens, it happens. We'll just figure it out. Refine a specific process. Go from open to sleeping with her to seeing her again. How do you get to each of those stages in a way where you can eliminate all factors of randomness? You want to eliminate all factors of randomness. You don't want it to be random when you meet girls. You want it to be structured. You want it to be, I know why I'm doing this. I know why this girl responded. I know why she didn't. That's how you're going to create abundance. That's how you're going to create clarity in your dating life, okay? I hope this is clear. There's a fucking recession on dating for men right now. There is. Male attention is at an all-time low in terms of value. There's more of it than ever, but it has less value because there's these tools, these fucking tools of the Matrix, like fucking, again, Tinder is another one of those tools. I think it's hurting dating so much, but it's part of the game. There's OnlyFans. That's not part of the game. That's just one of these tools, So what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do? Are you going to sit back, or are you going to become well-rounded, build yourself up, become top 20, top 10%, learn a process and a system, and grow from there, okay? If there's any way that I can help you, if you want to grow in this faster instead of taking months or years to do it on your own and having unnecessary failures and unnecessary stress, work with me. I will help you build this. This is what I do. I'm a consultant for men, and down below I created a training. You can see the link, which is 4 steps that I use, a 4-step system I use to create the kind of dating life I want, to attract women that I want, to build this dream dating lifestyle, which I've had now for the last, give or take, 4 to 5 years of dating mastery. And I give you this system. You can click the link below and watch it. You also can book a call with me, set up a 30-minute call where you and I are going to go deep into what's going on with you in your dating life, your results with women. We're going to create an actionable game plan for you to follow, a system, so that you can attract women into your life. And if it's a good fit, we'll end up working together and actually creating a plan together in a year-long mastermind, literally with a 90-day results window for you to attract women into your life and really create a badass dating life. Okay? That's what's available for you, my friend. I hope you're staying well. Don't let this shit get to you. Stay strong. Keep crushing it, taking action. As always, keep moving the needle forward. I'm rooting for you. I'll see you on the next one.